Hi, my name's Jamie,
And I'm Lisa.
and welcome to VanLife Over 55.
This is our van. Her name is Gertie.
And we're having a fantastic time. And basically, we're on Vancouver Island right now, and we'd like to give you a little tour of our van. So the first thing we wanted to make sure we had was a really good fridge, and this is a fridge-freezer combination, and it is a Canadian brand. And the one thing that we were concerned about was not having to bend down into a chest freezer. When you're getting up there, you don't want to be worrying about your back problems. So basically what we decided to do was we came up with an idea of building a box to put the fridge on, and basically it raises it up, and we've also doubled it as a bench. We got a cushion on top now, so we also have somewhere to sit. So underneath the fridge we had this box built, and it also works as a step to put your feet on when you're sitting on the bench, and it also works for storage.
So one of our requirements when we were deciding on what we wanted in this van, we had consulted with Rainer from Ray Outfitted, and we let him know what we wanted. We knew we didn't want to be worrying about propane. We wanted electricals. We wanted to make sure we could use our induction cooktop. We wanted to make sure we could use our oven because we love to bake bread, and we wanted to make sure we could bring our Berkey water filter system. The design that Rainer came up with is working so well for us. We also ended up working with Andy from Happy Camper Kits, who helped to design all the cabinetry in here. So the other thing we wanted to make sure, like I said, we wanted to be able to have an oven in here. So Andy came up with this lovely, we'll call it a
Bread box.
bread box. So when you roll this up, we have our oven in here. We don't bake in here yet. We're going to try it one day, but we usually bring the oven out and put it on the countertop and do all our baking. We've had frozen pizza in it even. It's delicious. We have this from home. We wanted to be able to bring it with us. So it filters any water. You can use lake water, puddle water, put it through the filter system, and it becomes drinkable. So Andy came up with this design to hold the filter, but it also gives us, you want to step up and show them? For us over 55 crowd, it becomes a step as well for us to get to bed. So that was the other electrical piece we wanted to be able to bring with us, and we have our Instant Pot stored at the bottom here. We had in our head certain things, and Jamie's request, because he grew up in England, was for a sink just like this. So we drove around before even starting to build with this sink just floating around in the back of the van for about 6 months. One of the other things Andy came up with is this lovely extension. It gives us more counter space, for cooking, or when we swivel our seat, it allows us to sit here, pull the seat up, work on our computer if we need to, or place to eat as well.
So in the beginning, we found that the most difficult part of trying to figure out what to do with the van was what to insulate it with, because there are so many choices out there. We initially started out by looking into sheep's wool. We did some research. It's antibacterial, it's antimicrobial, or when it gets wet, if it does, it'll dry. Then of course we went to look at spray foam and denim and so many other different things. So eventually we went back to sheep's wool. So this whole van is completely insulated with bat and loose fill sheep's wool, and it smelled like a barnyard for a long time.
So we also went with the marine lock. Once you lock it properly, they don't move around. What we also love is there's no nails or anything hold it together. He does the whole dovetail as well.
And this is our temporary coffee station. I think that by the time we get back, we want to figure out a permanent location for everything. Maybe something to contain all the coffee stuff in, because we have way too much coffee stuff. So, but we have to have coffee in the morning. It's the only way you can get out of bed. What we have here is an S-Bar diesel heater. It's basically run through the diesel tank underneath the van, and we tapped into it. Well, Rainer tapped into it. We have one vent here that heats the inside of the van, and then there's also a T in the back, and that heats the the garage, which is underneath the bed, so it stops the batteries from freezing, and also the water tank from freezing, which is really important. And it actually has a thermostat here that we can run and change the temperature. What we went with, he suggested 3 200-watt panels, and he fabricated a tiltable solar rack, which we have on the roof, which is great, especially when you come out west in the winter and the sun doesn't get very high in the sky and you have to put your solar rack up to try to get as much sun as you can. And we have 3 100-amp lithium batteries, and we have a 3,000-watt inverter. We also have an ACR switch, which allows us to alternator charge the batteries when we're driving, which is really helpful on those cloudy days. And we also have the ability to plug into shore power if we need to. So we have a lot of options, so we're pretty safe that we're not going to run out of any power. In the garage we have a 20-gallon water tank, which is hooked up to a marine water pump, and we have a switch for it underneath the sink here. And basically it makes it easy for us to fill up our Berkey, and in a couple hours this will drain and we'll have fresh drinking water. For our gray water for the sink, after we've done our dishes, it basically drains into a 5-gallon jug. Usually we empty that maybe every 3 or 4 days, depending on how many dishes we do.
One of the other things Andy was able to design for me particularly, every girl's dream, to have a little makeup drawer maybe. So that's up here. I've got all my little, makeup, and when you're over 55, you need one of these, sometimes. A lot of people like to talk about this, but I don't mind. It's life. So this is where we have our slide out for our toilet. So this eventual space will have a composting toilet, but for now, this bucket works great for us, no issues with it at all. But eventually we will have a composting toilet there, but this is where we have our toilet.
So when we bought the van, there were no windows in it. So what we did was we put a very small 3-foot window in by the bed. We also installed 2 max air fans in the ceiling, one in the front here and one in the back. And they work great for ventilation. You open one up to push air out and pull air in from the other one. And when you have the side window open too, we're hoping that in the summer it's going to be perfect air conditioning.
So we designed our bed to hold, it's almost a queen size mattress. We wanted to be able to have the headroom as well to sit up. So sometimes I'll put the cushions on my back here, feet up, read, watch on my phone, things like that. We designed our cabinets above the bed. Jamie has one section, I have one. We like the openness of it, and so that makes us keep it tidy, so we always are folding away, making sure we put away things. So we went with this height of the bed because in the garage we have our 2 bicycles under there, so we needed the height.
Behind here is all the electrical. We have no hidden wires in the van whatsoever. Rainer was pretty much of a stickler when it comes to hiding wires in a van, so nothing is hidden. And Rainer and him came up with this idea, and we think it's a great idea. So if we have any electrical problems, we know exactly how to get to the wires. Here, this is the whole electrical system that is powered by the solar that's on the roof. Ray installed all of this. I sat under this bed for 8 hours with him while he did this installation because I just wanted to try and understand exactly what was powering our van. I was just so impressed with the neatness of his work and his attention to detail. I just highly recommend him to do any electrical solar work that you need because he's fantastic. We managed to get both of our mountain bikes in here. We have one on either side of the toilet box. I don't know if you can see it, but our S-bar heater is tucked in way down in the back there. On the right hand side we have our water tank that's mounted over one of the wheel wells. I boxed it in to support the tank. And then basically it's just storage, stuff you need on the road.
We live in a van because we want to be able to travel around and experience things. We've always loved tiny places. We always gravitated to small bungalows. We raised our family in small bungalows. And a couple of years ago, went to California to for a music festival. And we rented a van and we did the festival. We were in heaven. We loved the mobility of it. And when we came back home, we realized we could do this.
I think the biggest thing is just being able to go wherever you want, stop wherever you want, spend as much time in a place wherever you want. We've realized traveling with friends that you don't need to make a rigid schedule because you're going to miss things, and you need to slow down and just enjoy the scenery and just take your time, because there's so much to see out there, and then just enjoy every little bit.
I've got family all over Canada, US, and so it's given us the opportunity now to bring our home with us and visit with them. We've come to our age where we call it changing gears. Jamie retired in 2018 from working 30 years at Canada Post, and a week later he picks up a little part-time job. So having the flexibility to come and go, do a bit of traveling, maybe come back home, work a little bit. We love it. We love the flexibility of being able to do that as well. Some of the challenges for us, this is not the norm for our age group. So when we kind of mentioned it to our family and friends, they thought we'd lost our rockers. Went off our rockers. When we eventually went into it, and you're trying to plan what you want in here, you start to self-doubt yourself, because we didn't do all the build by ourselves. We didn't feel we had the confidence and the capability to do it. So being at the age of retirement almost, it allowed us to hire Rainer, to hire Andy to help us outfit this. One of the challenges we did discover when we bought the van was being just 5'1", climbing into this van became difficult for me, and I did it, but then eventually I took a chunk out of my shin. So that made us look into, okay, we needed to put the running boards, we needed to put a handle. So now I feel much more safer getting in and out of the van because I have those little safety features. So once we started traveling the van, you're in a limited space. We've learned to be a little more patient with each other.
The transition from going to a house to a van for us was very easy. We've been downsizing quite a bit over the years, and we have no trouble getting rid of stuff. Well, I don't have trouble getting rid of stuff. I have no trouble getting rid of your stuff.
Who are you talking about?
So we know what it's like to live with less and use less. So when we did come into the van, we tried to bring as little as possible. I think we've already realized how much stuff we do have in here that maybe we don't need. But I guess it's better to come with more stuff than you need, just to be on the safe side. But when you entertain in a van, people bring their own cutlery and plates and cups and bowls, so it's never been a problem.
This lifestyle I would definitely recommend you try. Again, it's a lifestyle change. Change is always good. It's opened our eyes to seeing the world. It's opened our friendship. We've made so many friends through Instagram, just following other van lifers, and it's great to connect with like-minded people. I recommend this to my friends all the time. They think we're crazy, but eventually when they see what we've done, they're in awe. They've realized, wow, you can do it. I can do it.
I also think it's about experiencing things and not having stuff. Because to me that's spend your money and build a van and go and see things, and not accumulate stuff that you're never going to need, never going to use. You don't need it. You really can get by living in a van and just enjoy what's out there. People don't realize what they're missing. That's how I see it.
Yeah. Do you have the patience to do this? Do you like to drive? Are you comfortable with living with less. You know, once you open that side door and you look outside, you realize what's important. Just by taking in your environment, taking in the views, those are the things that matter. All the experiences, and sharing it with the like-minded people makes it even better.
Initially, when we were looking for a van to start the journey, we had a certain budget, and when we went out there and looked at what we could get for that budget, we were also looking then at longevity. So that's why we decided to go with a Sprinter van that was used. It wasn't brand new, so yeah, it was a little bit more expensive.
We blew our budget.
We blew our budget basically, yeah. But because this is we've decided this is a long-term goal, and we wanted to do the build slowly. We wanted to make sure we had everything in it that we needed, and we wanted to make the right decisions. So it took 18 months from the time we bought the van till we started our trip 3 weeks ago.
We have a joke between us that, you know, when you look at something, everything is either $500 or $1,000. So with us taking our time and building it, it sort of allowed us to, you know, bring in money and spend it wisely.
Yeah, we might be spending 60, 70, 80 bucks a day on those really long driving days, but you're not getting a hotel room. You're not spending 40 bucks on maybe dinner that night.
For you.
I don't think there's really a wrong way or a right way to build a van or upfit a van. It's all on what you want in the van, how much money you have, what your budget is, and what makes you comfortable and what makes you happy.
Yes, yes.
So it's not a competition. It's your home. It's a personal choice, and everybody's different.
So our experience with the build, when we did the whole build of Gertie, I honestly kept questioning myself, can we really do this? And, you know, I sometimes wanted to give up, thinking, what are we doing at this age of, you know, time in our lives? But, you know, we've always sort of been a little different in the roads we traveled sometimes. And I thought this would give us the opportunity to continue doing, you know, what we love to do. And it's been wonderful. It's working out great for us. We've been married over 30 years, and I thought maybe this will break us. But we seem to work very well together. We can still make each other laugh.
Which is very important.
Yes, it's keeping the humor in your relationship, and this has actually made us, you know, realize how much more fun we can have together out there.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Definitely. If you're not living on the edge, you're taking up space.
Yeah, he's always said that. My philosophy on life is I always love to make eye contact with people. Put a smile out there, because you never know what that person's going through, and that one smile could make their day. You know, just embrace life. There's so much to learn and see out there.
Life's too short, and you're here for a good time, not a long time.
You love doing song lyrics, don't you?
Yeah.
So if you're interested in giving us a follow, we are on Instagram. Our handle is a.van.degroot. Thank you for watching.
Hi, I'm Forrest.
I'm Emily.
And this is Ronnie, and we're all part of the different media team. So if you guys enjoyed that alternative dwelling episode you just watched, there's a playlist popping up now where you can continue watching. Or you can go to our second channel where we travel around in this 1989 Toyota motorhome that we restored. We have all sorts of videos detailing the build that we did, what our life is like living on the road. So go ahead and check that out in the description below.